So last time we were seeing Narad's prophecy, and he says that in one brief year, when this bright tower flies back and perches careless on a branch of time, this sovereign glory ends, heaven lent to earth. This splendor vanishes from the mortal sky. Heaven's greatness came, but was too great to stay. So that is what is going to happen in the bright hour. Now here, of course, he says, this sovereign glory lent thy heaven to earth. Lent thy heaven to earth. Actually, this is more than lending. He has taken a kind of a purposeful birth on earth. It is more than lending. But in the context of the human birth, it is lending. This splendor vanishes from the mortal skies. Vanishes from the mortal sky. Again, it is not that he is going to die, in the sense that, of course, he will die, in the sense that this will not be any more henceforward, hence onward, in the mortal sky. When he would come back, it will be in the mortal sky. It will be in the mortal sky when he comes back, you see. Heaven's greatness came, but was too great to stay. 12 swift-winged months are given to him and her. This day returning, Satyavan must die. Now, this is an important clause. See, all right, Satyavan is a glory lent by heaven to earth. Satyavan is going to die 1 year after the marriage. But there is a certain specificity of his death. It is only if Satyavan marries Savitri. You see, it is not he marries somebody else and then this will happen. There is a specificity given to him and her. There is the specificity of their coming together for a purpose, you see. Otherwise, Savitri could have married somebody else, Satyavan could have married somebody else, and maybe he would have died. Who bothers about that kind of a thing, you see? It is not that. It is them being together. That is important. The whole purpose of Savitri, epic Savitri, is condensed in this phrase, given to him and her. And then, of course, it says, this day returning, Satyavan must die. That we already said, must die is important. It is not Satyavan will die, he must die. There is a greater purpose behind it, and that is what it must makes this our bride. And again, he repeats the same thing. A lightning bright and nude. The sentence fell. So it really comes like a lightning. Bare, without any embellishment, without any extra word, nothing. Bare. And of course, bright. It has the brightness of the lightning, it has the speed of lightning, it has the suddenness, the unexpectedness of lightning. All those things are there. But the queen cried, when then can be heaven's grace? She is now mocking heaven, obviously. What is this? I mean, he is a glorious person, this thing, that thing, you are telling all that thing, and you are telling that he is going to die when you are married. That's a kind of a mockery. And therefore, when then can we heaven's grace? If it is good soon, it is of not any avail to me at all. That's what it means. Heaven, oh, he says, heaven mocks us with the brilliance of its gifts. See, heaven mocks us with the brilliance of its gifts. Yes, Satyavana is bright, this thing, that thing, etc., etc. And this is a mockery of heaven, you see. For death is a cupbearer of the wine of too brief joy held up to mortal lips for a passionate moment by the careless gods. Yes, the joy of love is there, but the joy is short lived. The cup is a mortal cup and it has no heavenly kind. But death is the cupbearer. He is carrying the cup of love. For a passionate moment, for Savitri, in her youth, she got infatuated, so to say, by this boy, and she has fallen in love with him, and she is now passionate about it. But what is that passion? It is a momentary passion. And the joy, the cup of joy which is there, is being carried by the bearer, who is death. But I reject the grace and the mockery. I reject the grace and mockery. Obviously, she will reject it. As a mother, she will definitely reject it. Grace and mockery. Yes, he is a great person, etc., etc., all that. That is a grace. But it is a mockery that is only for a short life, you see. What is Savitri going to do in the whole of her life, you see? And naturally, of course, I reject. You can say, who else can reject? Obviously, Ashwapati is not going to reject it. Obviously, Savitri is not going to reject it. It is only Savitri's mother who is going to reject it. The full human passion, the human sentiment, the human emotion is condensed in that utterance of hers. I reject. It is humanity who will reject it. Mounting thy car, go forth, O Savitri, and travel once more through the people's lands. Yes, you have been traveling for 1 year from place to place. Go again, drive your Karman car, the golden chariot, and find another youth. Mounting the car, go forth, O Savitri, and travel once more through the paper track. Alas, in the green gladness of the woods, thy heart has stooped to a misleading call. Yeah, you are enamored by somebody, but it is a wrong thing. You have fallen into a kind of a devious trap, and you better find somebody else. It is now made known to you, so the wisdom lies in finding somebody else. Had it not been made known, it's okay. But now that is known, the wisdom is find somebody else. Thy heart stooped to a misleading call. Now she of course uses the word stoop. Now the kind of relationship they had immediately recognized with each other, Satyavana and Savitri, there was no question of Savitri stooping. Savitri never stooped. But that is how, in the given context now, the human feeling, human emotion, human mother would say, you see, choose once again and leave this fated head. Death is the gardener of this wonder tree. Love's sweetness sleeps in his pale marble hand. In his, that is death. In death's pale marble hand, what sleeps is love. In fact, that is what we had. Love came seeking to her, hiding behind him the shadow, death. That is what we had in Canto 2. Love came seeking Savitri, hiding behind him the shadow. So, Savitri is not aware of the shadow which was there behind Satyavan when she met him there in the forest, you see. Love's sweetness sleeps in his pale marble hand. Now, death is the gardener. Earlier, death was the cupbearer. Now, he is the gardener of this wonder tree. Now, wonder tree, love's wonder tree. Love's wonder tree is guarded by death. And it is under this tree that really 1 year after the marriage, death occurs. The kingly trunk, as you see later on, the death occurs under the tree. And death is standing there, waiting for the proper moment to arrive and things to happen. And he is really guarding that thing also, he is the gardener. Advancing in a honeyed line, but close a little, joy would buy bitter and too bitter an end. Well, this is natural. Your moment of sweetness, of being together, is a transitory moment, a short living moment. But in the long run, it is going to lead to a bitter end. So she is trying to plead, Savitri, you make your mind again, go back and choose somebody else. Plead not thy choice, for death has made it vain. Plead not thy choice, for death has made it vain. Obviously, you see, she is very tight in her argument. See, plead not the choice, for death has made it vain. Monosyllabic, giving stress on everything. Why it is vain? Because thy youth and radiance were not born to lie a casket void, dropped on a careless soil. A choice less rare may call a happier fate. So she is putting every human argument. She is putting every human argument, which is quite understandable, very natural also. See. Plead not the choice. She is anticipating that Savitri is going to argue against her advice that she has chosen already. So she is anticipating that thing. And she is telling her, no, go ahead and find somebody else. Yeah. She is anticipating already. She knows her daughter very well. See, thy youth and radiance are not born to lie a casket void, dropped on a careless soil. A choice less rare may call a happier fate. Now, this is a perfect argument, human argument. Now the question would arise. This is what Narad has told, and this is what the queen, Savitri's mother, Malavi, is telling her daughter, look, you forget about this boy now, find out somebody else. And she also knows that Savitri is going to counter-argue. You see. Now the question is, for a moment, let us assume, had this situation arisen in the life of the queen, what she would have done in the life of Savitri's mother.
Savitri's mother would have been in that
Yes,
situation.
yes. what she would have done.
What would have been stronger?
Yeah.
For the boy or
Yeah, yeah, it's quite natural to ask that question, you see. You replace for a moment Satyavan and Savitri by Ashwapati and Malavi. What she would have said? Would she have argued like this?
If it is love marriage,
Uh,
Shopati and Vin, if that was love marriage,
no.
if it
Okay.
was, then they would not, they will be also thrown that time.
exactly. If it is love marriage,
If
they
it's-
go on.
yeah.
If it is arranged,
If it
maybe
is
they
like
say
that.
someone else. Yeah, that's true. If it's an arranged, in arranged, you drop that.
No, whether arranged or not, that is not the point. I mean, see, even if it is arranged, and somebody comes and says this boy is going to die, I mean, no party is going to agree to that.
One girl, she got news that after marriage, this fellow will not be there. She said, I will not marry with him.
Yeah,
I saw that thing. And she married then another one. But if that was love marriage, then they will say, whatever it may be, we will marry. That was not the question.
it's not very sure always, you see. It's not always like that.
Not always, but rare cases
See, I mean-
it will happen like that.
Just like the other day, 2-3 days ago, we received an email from one of the Auroville centers. The treasurer, one a very active person in Auroville International, he has been diagnosed with brain cancer, and immediately they decided he and his long-standing girlfriend they married
Yeah,
after the diagnosis.
it can be. But you see, there are many reasons also behind that sort of a thing. See, there can be many reasons also behind that kind of a thing. I mean, I'm not saying in this particular context. In the human relation, human mind, human uh, uh, approach is so complex. You see, well, somebody can marry, although knowing that thing, not for the love of that person, but maybe because he has got property, he has got this asset, that asset, or whatever it is. You see,
Whatever the reason is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It can be any. You see, yeah. You see, what it only means that the fact that Savitri's mother is saying this, she has not really felt that intensity of love when she was about to get married with her husband. It amounts to that.
Maybe she was arranged marriage.
No, it's not that. In those traditions were different altogether, you see. It's not arranged. See, in those days, a princess, the prince would go and do some heroic deeds, and it is that which will attract the girl. The father will not easily give. He has to show his bravery, his character, his something nobility, and things like that. Then only she would go and marry. You see. Yeah. It's not just arranged or love marriage. There are some kind of tests also sort of conducted there. You see, in those cases.
Marriages you told that like that.
So no, here it definitely appears that that intensity of love which is there is not present, was not present in the case of Savitri's mother when their marriage had taken place. Had it been there, she would not have argued this way. Although she is a mother, she has great concern for her child. You see. My feeling is that this is something very exceptional intensity with which Savitri is committed, so to say, to Satyavan. You see. Exceptional intensity, you see. And this one, her mother is not in a position to understand, grasp, being human, being kind of veiled by her human passion.
Also, I think there is a mother's egoism there, because even if it is tradition in some
Yeah.
cases to commit sati,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
the mother does not agree.
No.
because she will lose her daughter.
Yeah. I reject the grace and the mockery. Had she done that in her own case?
Was it still custom to do sati at that time? Probably, no?
Pardon me?
Sati.
Yeah.
To die with the husband. The husband
Yeah.
dies, then
Yeah.
you also have to jump into
Yeah,
the fire.
yeah, that
Was
is
still custom?
that is Sati God. Yeah.
That was still custom then?
I mean, there is a mention in Savitri also later on.
Savitri speaks of
There is a, she speaks of it later on. She weighs different possibilities, what she should do. Yeah, what she should do after the
Does
marriage.
he have to or no?
No. This is later on. It's a deterioration, but it was a choice. Yeah. You see, yeah. Yeah. I reject the grace and the mockery. I don't think she would have applied herself this sentence to herself. You see. But Savitri answered from her violent heart. Now, violent here, of course, does not mean violent in the sense of violence. Very passionate, very intensely, with a strong conviction in what she had decided. It is in that sense. She is going to stand by that. She is going to oppose anything which will deflect her from what she has already chosen to do. In that sense. Her voice, because you say violent, and her voice is calm and her face fixed like steel. She is still well composed in spite of that prophecy of Narad and what her mother is telling her. She is still calm, fixed like steel. In fact, that is what Narad had also said, to steel her will, to make it firm, you see. And in that sense, he has really achieved that thing, you see. A choice less rare may con a happier fate, all right, but Savitri answered from her violent heart. Her voice was calm, her face was fixed like steel. Already, some kind of a yogic element is present in the case of Savitri in the worst moment of her life, in the most adverse situation. She has chosen a person. This is the kind of a knowledge given to her. Yet she remains calm. To remain calm under such situation needs an extraordinary yogic quality. This calm does not come easily like that. It does not come easily like that. Her face was fixed like steel. Once my heart chose and chooses not again. Finished. She has made one single sentence. In fact, that should be enough for Savitri's mother. I am not going to change my mind, whatever I had done. And she said, of course, not mine, my heart, you see. Once my heart chose and chooses not again. See, heart, it is from here the response is coming directly, not from here. This is the kind of a Greek response. Greek response. In the ancient Greek tradition or culture or character, a great person will say, I think. You won't say, I think. I think. See, it is from there, spontaneously, everything comes out. I think. Not here. Not by arguments, not by reasoning, not by ratiocination, analysis. No. Spontaneous, immediate response which has its own logic, its own raison d'etre, and it is that from which it comes here. So it is that raison d'etre which is now operating in the case of Savitri. Once my heart chose and chooses not again.